Do you think your son will be a world champion? Do you hope for him to be a world champion?
Sure.
Yeah. I've spoken to Conor recently. They're adamant they're going to have this fight and they're not going to stop. And the British Boxing Board of Control, who I'm a major advocate of giving them more powers, giving them more legislation, and them being worthy of it. How will you possibly stop this fight besides divine intervention?
You just said them being worthy of it, as though you have some standard to be compared to the Boxing Board of Control. You don't.
Let me tell you what I mean by that. Let me tell you about that.
No, but
they've got to uphold the laws properly. They've got to do their jobs, but they've got to look after you guys properly.
So say that, and
that's what I meant.
And yeah, well, you didn't. That's not what came across.
No, it's the way you've taken it. I'm responsible for the intention of my words, not responsible for your interpretation of it. So my intention is that the British Boxing Board of Control is a valuable entity. It needs to be cherished and empowered and legislated and given proper results.
So speak to them as such.
I've done that.
About them as such.
I have done. But I also believe they need to be worthy of it, because I do believe at times that they don't do the things that they should do. There's inconsistencies. And as an objective observer that was involved in the business of sport, and I'm not an establishment person, but I see the value of it. And I think that an effective British Boxing Board of Control that looks after fighters, when Bradley Skeet is getting knocked on his backside and punched when he's on the ground, and then subsequently loses a fight for no reason other than poor refereeing, and the British Boxing Board of Control condone that, as a man that has empathy with the fighter that's gone in there, I feel that's poor, and I think it should be said. Is that wrong?
I guess you'll be the judge of that.
Well, no, I'm asking you because you have an educated view, because you've just told me that I've spoken inappropriately.
Yeah, you spoke about a governing body as you said, worthy, if they're worthy.
I would argue they're not fit for purpose, Chris.
You would argue that, yeah?
Yeah, I would argue that.
Okay, well, I'm here to tell you as follows, that I support them. I am them.
Me too.
Really?
I do, absolutely.
Okay, so speak of them with that enamor.
I speak honestly and objectively with no skin in the game. I think they need to be stronger. They need to be better empowered. They need to have better legislation. They need to enforce rules better. They need to be better financed. They need to have more resource. They need to have better control over UCAD and the governance of what UCAD are doing in the sport to get rid of the drug testing and have real... And I think that's not unreasonable. It's not disrespectful, and that's what I mean when I say they need to be worthy. Not that they're individuals lacking substance. I mean the institution itself needs to be worthy of the sport that you guys put your lives at risk in. Is that wrong?
Again, you're going to be the judge of your own tongue.